Hello Bournemouth fans and maybe Nottingham Forest fans as well. I'm joined here by Tom Jordan. Tom, how are you?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Thank you.
And we're here to discuss number 8, Harry Arter, a player that is etched into Bournemouth folklore. He joined Forest on Wednesday and we haven't done a video yet to discuss this. He's played for us once this season and he's been out on loan at other clubs such as Cardiff and Fulham, and he's a player that, well, he's had a really incredible time at Bournemouth, but also, in the grand scheme of things, also a very difficult time as well with family life. But he's a player that we signed from Woking for, what, $4,000? And we've got some pictures on screen now of him joining the club and some of his early performances for us, looking very fresh-faced there. And he's a player that, as fans, we grew to love really quickly, didn't we?
He's the epitome of a fan's favourite. Do you know what I mean? The way he plays, he looks like he just cares so much. It matters to him so much, and that's always going to... the fans are going to love that. But he also had so much quality as well. It was similar to kind of Mark Pugh when he'd go through the leagues with us and you think, can he cut it at the next level? And then he just would. And then can he cut it yet? And he would. And whatever level we were at, the performance... I remember when we got promoted to the Premier League and he missed the start of the season and we noticed it straight away. He was so key to us, and I'd probably say, I mean, he's got to be the best midfielder we've ever had, in my opinion.
What a player he was. He was, how would you describe him as a player? He's a tough tackling centre midfielder, yet very composed on the ball, heart on his sleeve, never is afraid to, duck out of a challenge, always goes in 110%. And as fans, you want to see that. Now, in a previous video last night, we were talking about Philip Billing and the way that sometimes you just want him to show a bit of aggression, and there was a chance where he was through on goal where he just seemed to be really lackadaisical, and he almost lacked the diligence that Harry Arter would have, and the he would be wanting to win that ball, he'd be wanting to shield the ball, he'd be wanting to lay the ball off to Sam Surridge or whatever, but Phil Billing just seemed to be so chilled. But Harry Arter just always went for every ball 110%, and he was the heartbeat of the side, wasn't he?
He was for years, and like you say, he just had that bite about him. And in terms of, he was everywhere. He'd do a bit of everything. But you could play him kind of deep in midfield and get him to spray the puck, kind of what he did in our last performance, where he's a bit deeper, getting the ball for centre halves and he can pick a pass. You could play him and just be an engine, just running around, causing nuisance to everyone, making good blocks, good tackles. But he'd also pitch in with some goals. He scored some worldies for us, especially in that championship season.
Yeah,
he could pop up with a goal all the time. So he had a bit of everything. He really did, and it's difficult because obviously, like we mentioned there, with the kind of family and personal issues, which ultimately probably stopped him playing here. For me, he would still be a great part of the squad. It was inevitable, like you say. He's been out on loan a few times. He hasn't. It's almost felt like he's been gone for a while. So it's but obviously now it's just kind of official. It's almost like you've been on a break with your missus for ages, and now it's officially over. I mean, the divorce papers have come through, but he will always be loved by the fans. There's not one fan that doesn't love Harry Arter, and I just hope he done well at Cardiff, he done well at Fulham, but it didn't quite happen for him. I really hope that he can go to Forest and be a real success, and the fans take to him because he deserves it. He seems like he's a top bloke off the pitch as well.
I think as fans we warm to watching players who've got the aggression and the heart and gets angry like we do, and it was clear that he got angry when the team were playing crap. He got angry with his teammates, and he would shout at his fellow teammates, and he would try to sort of drag them into line. And he also had an element of his game where I put on Twitter earlier last week, because I was asked to do a few media soundbites, and I said, what's the best way to say shithouser without swearing? And he had that element to his game. So Steve Perry said highly competitive, tenacious, single-minded. Stuart said niggly. Mike Brannan said the Irish Gattuso. Jordan said the ball-winning wind-up merchant. And Derek Beach, he said, just show them the leave it clip. Now, for any Forest fans that aren't particularly schooled on this particular moment, can you explain what happened? Because it was in a match against Watford, wasn't it?
It was in a match against Watford, and it looked as if he had shouted the words "leave it." They played a ball through. It was Nathaniel Chalobah, I believe, for Watford, who looked like he was just about to pull the trigger, edge of the box, just inside, I think. Arter screamed, and he dummied it, and we broke, and they were not happy. I'm pretty sure it come out that they had a code word that just so happened to be the same code word as we use for leave it, because you're not actually allowed to say leave it.
No, that's right, yeah.
So clubs have apparently clubs have these different code words, and Bournemouth and Watford's just happen to be the same.
Oh, right.
That's what I read. So we knew that. Arter knew that.
I did not know that.
And just shouted out this code word, and they were absolutely fuming. But yeah, you'd be fuming if you're the opposition. But that's Harry Arter all over, isn't it?
But that's sharp thinking, isn't it? Like in that moment to actually think, say
it's
the code word anyway.
unsportsman or smart thinking, or whatever you want to call it. I know at the time I thought it was very intelligent of H, but he was that type of player, like you say. But that's the character of him, that he would do anything to win. He just wanted to win, and like you said, that's what fans love. There's certain players I look at, like Arsenal with like Mesut Ozil. They can't warm to him because of that kind of pedestrian. Everyone warms to people like Harry Arter, but I think you've also, as much as doing all that shithousery, whatever you want to call it, you've got a bit of quality, and he always had that. Like I said, he pitching the goals, great passing.
And some of the goals he scored were absolute worldies, and I never really knew, was he a left-footed player or a right-footed player or what?
That's what I remember. I can't remember what game it was. I can't remember if it was a pre-season game. It might have been, and I saw him he was taking corners, which he didn't normally do, so I'm pretty sure it was some sort of pre-season game. And he was on corners, and he took one, left-footed, kind of scrapped around, it went out the other side, and he ran over and took the other one right-footed. And I thought he scored some worldies with both feet, and I think he genuinely might have been both-footed. Because I've seen him score screamers with both, and he seemed just as comfortable on both, didn't he?
I remember a few worldies that spring to mind. Obviously, Middlesbrough at home, 3-0. Watford away in a 2-2, I think it was, or 1-1, was it? A goal at MK Dons from we had a free kick that was just laid off to him. He took a touch and then smashed it top right. We won 3-0 in that one away, and and also in the Premier League, I think he scored Huddersfield, in our 4-0 or 4-1, no 4-0, whatever it was. And I mean, what a player! And he drove forward and created chances. He was a total battler. But in amongst all this was the most devastating story that happened that most Bournemouth fans weren't really aware of until just before the kickoff of Man United at home. And fuck me, that was an emotionally charged fixture. I've never known anything like it. And what basically happened was him and his wife were expecting their first child, and she died in the womb. And despite that, he decided to play. There's that famous picture which we'll show on screen now of Eddie Howe, putting his arms around Harry Arter, and that was poignant. And I didn't notice it at the time, but when Junior Stanislas scored that goal from the corner flag, he took off his armband, he kissed it, and he pointed straight to Harry Arter, which epitomised the team spirit. And it also epitomised what a crucial cog and what an important figure he was in that side. And to go through that, I think that was, obviously it's a huge moment for him, but it's one that he now, sadly, he sort of associates that with the local area, with the football club, and he's just wanted a clean mental break, hasn't he? Yeah,
and you can totally understand it. You don't know. It's probably a kind of a family thing for him and his partner, and it's probably just something where I can't begin to imagine kind of what they feel, but maybe for them it's it's just kind of that. Fresh start. There's too many bad memories down here and stuff like that, and you can totally appreciate that. Of course, it comes to this thing's more important than football at the end of the day. I can't remember totally, but I believe it was like the Thursday that they unfortunately lost a child, and then the game was obviously the Saturday. And it shows that, people often say about the kind of discipline, because obviously, like we were saying then with Harry Arter, he was a real battler and he picked up yellow cards all the time. But for Eddie to make sure. I remember Eddie saying, you know, are you all right to play? And he said, yeah. And for Eddie to trust him, you could easily have a type of player that is a loose cannon out there after going through that.
And let's face
but
it,
trusting him, that shows what Eddie thinks of the man. You know what I mean? I can trust H. And then I always remember he was. I mean, not only did he get through the game, he was unbelievable.
Yeah.
He was brilliant. And then I remember he just went in for a tackle. And he looked like he had that kind of red mist and was really angry. And Eddie just took him off. And like I say, that's where the photo that you put on screen was very poignant. And Union come on. But they all played it right. You know, Harry obviously felt he wanted to play. He was brilliant. And Eddie knew when to take him off. And it was perfect. And I mean, the fact we won the game as well and all that. And like you say, Junior's goal. And it was all centred toward Harry. And it was really emotional. I remember kind of when you saw the news, I thought, oh, well, Harry's not playing today then. And you saw him start and you thought, wow, this is going to be really difficult for him. But shows the type of character that he is, you know, and what a man he is, as well as a bloody good footballer.
Yeah, I mean, so for all Forest fans watching, we've described the type of player that he is. And do you think, Tom, that it's gonna mentally it makes a lot of a difference when you're starting at a club that you are a permanent signing for? You're not just a lone player and you don't know how long you're going to be there. You don't know whether it's going to be extended, whether you're going to go back to Bournemouth or not. Now he's got the certainty of being at Forest for however long his contract is. And it is a new start for him and his family, isn't it?
Yeah, so it makes a hell of a difference, I'm sure. I mean, like I say, he's been on loan at a couple of clubs, and you don't know if he was thinking, but it must always be in the back of your mind, they might not want to keep me. I might get called back. I might be told from Bournemouth, who still, you know, own me as a footballer, might say, actually, we found a better move for you here, and I could get, you know, moved somewhere else. So when you've tied it up, I'm kind of relieved for him that he's got that move, and I think it's a really good fit. When we were watching him, you know, not long ago against Palace in his last game, I remember thinking, how is there not a queue of clubs for this guy? I mean, yeah, maybe now Premier League's a little bit too far, but he could be a player that really takes a good Championship club into that, you know, kind of top six. And I think Forest have got a hell of a player. If he stays fit, it could be a really good fit for them. He's a top player, like you say, and he's also going into a club where Lewis Grabban is, who obviously Grabban's been at Bournemouth on more than one occasion. So known Harry from playing down the leagues, and I probably feel like they've got a decent friendship there, and that'll be. I remember just listening to little kind of podcasts and chats from a lot of the kind of old school players, your Steve Cooks, Charlie Daniels, Harry Arter. That Grab seems to be one that's kind of still in the group in terms of, you know, still conversation. So that's really good for him. I'm pleased that he'll probably be able to go in there, settle in with Grabs, and you know, Grabs is the player that we all still are fond of here. So not only have Nottingham Forest got Hooters as their away pub, they've also got Harry Arter and Lewis Grabban. So if we can go up with anyone this season, I really hope it's them.
Yeah, and you know what? One of the biggest compliments I could pay to him this season is the fact that after he played for us in that Palace match in the Carabao Cup, we were all hoping, I mean, it probably wasn't going to happen, but we were all hoping and thinking, wow, I mean, this could be an incredible, you know, signing for us if he was to stay. But I mean, it never really was going to be the case. But when he played in that match, as you said, he just looked absolutely classy, and we would love to have that kind of player in our side this season, wouldn't we? And Forest will benefit greatly from him. Yeah,
definitely. I think from just a football mindset and a football perspective, you were just praying that you think, you know what, I might stick around actually, because I feel like I can get in this side, because I do believe he would add a lot to the squad. And would get a lot of game time here, but you know, we don't know. And like I say, I think it's a lot of personal things, like we've said. So you know, at the end of the day, that comes first, and you know, I'm really pleased he's got what I feel is a good move, like I say, and a good fit. And Forest have got a bloody good player. You know, forget the fact that we think he's a legend and a top bloke and he's been through a lot. They've got a really good footballer at this level. He will be one, if he stays fit, he'll be one of the best central midfield players in the league. No doubt about that. They've got a lot of quality there, and at the start, they haven't started brilliantly. The start of the season, they were kind of one of my tips to be a force in this league, because we know Lewis Grabban will always get you goals in the Championship. And I think adding H, I think that's going to... I've seen him the other night, because I would be like, I'm not sure, you know, if he's up to scratch yet. You know, we haven't played a lot of football. But after seeing him the other night, thinking, no, he's still got it. Really good signing for them. And it's going to be weird. I mean, fans probably won't be there. It is going to be weird playing against Grabban and Harry Arter.
I know.
Really weird.
And, you know, there's been there could have been a few weird matchups already. I mean, you know, Nathan Ake didn't get played for Manchester City yesterday, but you're looking at the types of players that we could be facing this season. It's going to be very emotional at times, and it's I'm sure it'll be very emotional for Harry to play Bournemouth. He's that kind of heart on his sleeve character. And from the, it's a shame we never really got to say goodbye. But Harry, if you're watching, or like anyone closely, sort of associated with him, obviously AFC Bournemouth fans wish you all the best. You and your wife Rachel, of course. It was absolutely awful what happened to Renee, but obviously you had rain that came soon after, and all the best for you and your family at the moment. And wouldn't that be nice if we managed to get promoted together? That would be,
that'd be perfect.
But the nightmare scenario, on the other hand, would be us in the playoff final.
Yeah, no, but no, like I say, put it this way, to Forest fans and to Harry himself, to bigger compliment than the fact that Bournemouth fans' second team in the Championship will be Nottingham Forest now.
Yeah,
it just will be, because that's how much Harry Arter means to the club and to the fans. And I really hope he's successful. And as much as I don't think fans will be there, if H was played against us, he'd get a standing ovation.
Yeah,
he would. Simple as that. And I really hope him and Forest have a good season. Just not quite as good as us.
Yeah, and I can't wait to be to be singing that song again at the Vitality, and I'm sure it won't be long before the Forest fans have got a chance for him as well. So Harry, good luck, all the best at Forest, and that's been our little tribute to Harry. What were your favourite moments from Harry Arter's long and exceptional AFC Bournemouth career? Put them in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. But for now, all eyes are on Norwich. It's on Sunday. Looking forward to that one, and we'll see you in the free-for-all at full time. Up the cherries.
Up cherries.
Back in the day! Back in the day!